You know what I'm
A
talking about.
little louder.
A little bit louder? Okay, we'll take care of that then. Welcome today. This is Valentine's Day, Thursday, February the 14th, 2013, in the year of our Lord. Patriotic song will be led today by Jerry Arms, our Pledge of Allegiance by Michelle Baker, and our invocation by Matt Ryerson. Please face the flag.
You are my sunshine. I don't know Valentine's song.
I like You Are My Sunshine.
Well, there you go.
What else could you do?
Country is a big sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died. Land of the pilgrims ride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you today. We thank you for all the gifts. We praise you for our loved ones on this special day. Lord, we thank you for this food. We ask that you bless it to the nourishment of our body. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Jerry, do we have any guests today?
We have one young man, Mr. Jeremy from Life Care, friend of Annette. Actually, they tried to tell me that's what he is, but I said nobody bosses her.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do we have a mystery Kiwanian today? Uh-oh. Mystery's a mystery.
Uh-oh.
Bubba. Who's number 8 today?
Number 8, what? Charles Sutton.
Well, Mr. Charlie Sutton. Charlie, where would you like your $2 to go? Well, number 1, to the foundation, or number 2, to eliminate our international project to eliminate maternal neonatal tetanus. 2. Lemonade. $2. Lemonade. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's all gone that direction. How about splitting the pot dollars? How much do we have in the opportunity pot today?
22 total, 11 for the winner.
$11 to the winner. If our guest today, Miss Suzanne, if she would pick out one of the tickets and read the last 3 numbers, please.
473.
473. Woo! Michelle Baker. $11. That won't even buy you 3 gallons of gas.
No,
Right?
I'm sorry, I told you wrong actually. 1, 2, 11, 12, 13.
All right,
16.
16?
16, I had it wrong.
So how much did you get then?
16. It was 30. It was $32.
So it's $32? Okay. Well, that's better
I'm
then.
sorry.
4 gallons.
I requested an audit.
Recount. No hanging chads here. All right, second ticket, last 3 numbers for door prize.
468.
468.
That's me.
Annette.
I actually won something.
Okay. Gives you some golf balls, a coffee cup, or a t-shirt. Right next to each other. And I could change it.
All right, we'll go down and we'll start on our announcements now. Kay, do you have any announcements on 4-H at all?
Of course.
All right.
We are having our second sub-county tomorrow night when everything else is going on in town. It will start at, you'll need to be there by 6 if you sign to be a judge. Looks like we have 7 rooms. We have 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade speakers tomorrow night. And I've already marked out a few names and I've added a few names, so we need to add a few more because right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 judge per room. Anyway, so we're hoping to get a few more signings. So I'll let you look at it. And then in 2 weeks, then we'll have the county speech, and that's on the 2nd sheet. That's on March 1st. Same thing, but we just need judges for that too.
Good deal. Thank you so much. Leanne here? Yeah. Leanne's not here, is she? Okay. Well, just so you know, we're looking like, well, we will have one on Monday, February the 25th. We've got Key Club up at Walker Valley. Also, that can be one of the interclubs this month. And secondly, is with the Cleveland High School. We got to truly confirm this with Gabby down there, but looks like February the 28th, that's on a Thursday. Most likely that'll probably be a 3 o'clock meeting over there as well at Cleveland High School, but we've got to firm that particular one up, and I'll have to verify that with Leanne, but that's what an email I received more or less specified on it. And we're going to talk about at Cleveland High School the Sensory Garden, see some things, what's going on there, and some of the discussions that we had during the foundation meeting on Tuesday of this week. We're going to kind of follow up on that also. Also, board meeting next Tuesday, regular board meeting, board of directors meeting up here at high noon next Tuesday. Alan, do you have any talk about Dr. Seuss? I know that's really the focus of our speaker today, but any announcements on your end?
Well, not at this time. We'll present those in just a moment.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Also, Hugh Walker, special announcement by Mr. Hugh Walker.
You want me to come up?
Come on up here, boss.
Well, I was at a foundation meeting Tuesday, and we were talking about the foundation. I thought, well, we need to say a little bit more, because a lot of new members don't know anything about it. A lot of old members maybe have donated already, wouldn't mind donating some more. On your tables, and if you don't know how I just took our tables, so if you'll, just gave them one. So if y'all would check that, sign that, or see Kathy, and she'll take it out of your dues or put it in your dues or whatever. But if you do $25 a quarter, that'd be $100 a year, and 10 years you would have your $1,000 and you wouldn't even miss it. I think that's what I did when I did it. I've done it a couple of times, I think. Our foundation really doesn't get any money except from our pinball machines, I think. So we could use a little money in cash. We'd like to have a little more for foundation scholarships. And I just wanted to point out to you, I would have trouble coming up with $1,000 to donate. But if you do it, you know, $25 a quarter, that's less than $5 a week. You can donate to the foundation, and in the long run, we'd have a lot of students who would have scholarships. We do the Key Club scholarship. There's 2 or 3 of those. We do 1 or 2 other scholarships to schools in the area, mainly by academic, but also we're going to try to do it. The people who have money are in pretty good shape for college. The poor, I don't want to say poor, the people who don't have as much money get Pell Grants and are in pretty good shape for college. It's the ones in the middle that don't get many scholarships, and this is something I think we can do. We've kind of been known for that. So I want to, as Harris Pierce used to say, you know, and we have, if you look going out here on the right, there are 2 plaques, and it has people that have done $1,000. They have a star, I think, if they've done 2,000, and some people in here have done 5 or 6 stars. So I'm not saying we need to do a lot, but just a little bit, if we'll sign up, I think in the long run, we'll have a little more scholarship money. And that's what I think we should try to do. And if you don't have a form to sign, just tell Kathy or give her one, and she'll be glad to charge you $25 or $50 or whatever you want to say in your dues. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh, for that announcement. And folks, it is important, and it's just not limited to Kiwanis members. If you've got other people on the outside of our club who are not members but are interested in the mission of Kiwanis, don't fret about asking them, would you like to make a contribution to the foundation? They do not have to be a member of this club to contribute to our Youth and Community Services Foundation at all. So I just want to put that there on the table. That's absolutely correct. Hugh and Rodney Fitzgerald were one of the 2 founding members of the foundation itself, on the original board of directors of the foundation, as well as the club. So, you know, we've got some longevity here that's in the positive, okay? And let's continue on the tradition of doing good works in this community. I have no other announcements on my end except with the, oh, I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead. I'm getting to you, Vince, I apologize.
Just wanted to make a general announcement. Cleveland High School is initiating a Hall of Fame for Cleveland High School graduates. It's a new initiative, none exists, and it will basically put together to honor graduates of Cleveland High School who have achieved some sort of success in their field, as well as in the area of impact on the community. But if you know a Cleveland High School graduate that you think would would be a qualified person in that. Go to the website www.clevelandraiders.com, and you'll find the nomination form. You'll be hearing more about this. The nomination form is there, and I think May 1st is the deadline for this first. Did I say order? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vince. And it's not a joke, by the way.
I was walking down the street the other, no. He mentioned 2 interclubs. I'm offering an alternative so we can be sure to get 2 in. Last month we squeaked one in on the very last day of the month, so we ended up with our 2. I can take a group up to Athens tomorrow or down to Brainerd. Makes no difference to me. Athens will get a few extra points. Go in my new Dodge Journey, which is very comfortable, very quiet. and I can actually hear.
This is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge.
Because I don't turn the radio off. So, do I have any takers for an interclub tomorrow?
I'll go to Athens with you.
Okay, then you'll probably be there, won't you, Richard? Yeah.
I'll go.
Okay, that's 2.
Got Matt.
For sure. I'm going to charge you if you don't.
He might be there in spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. Will it my place will alert you? Oh, what's your preference? Athens or Brainerd?
Athens.
Athens. I got 1 for Athens, 2 for Athens. All right, Athens it is.
Good deal. Thank you, Vince. And one last thing, I'm trying to get like Ryerson over here about my last thing, kind of a kickback from yesterday's meeting. Things 1 and 2, you know, go back to Dr. Seuss here. Harlan White Citizen of the Year Award. Once again, remember we've got these in the back of the room. Please nominate someone or send it out. They don't have to be a member of the club, but there are certain criteria they need to do in here. We've had a meeting recently, which I'm not going to belabor or go into at this particular point in time. We've got to talk about it in the board of directors meeting on Tuesday. But we're looking at making this a larger event and not just something we do in the month of March here, perhaps maybe in late April or potentially in May, making it a community-wide type of event and expanding it a little bit more, potentially having, you know, basically 6 people being nominated, 5 of which would have certain spirit awards that they would be recognized, and then still have the main Harlan White Citizen of the Year winner. All of those would come from this pool of applications. So we're going to try to make this a little bit of a larger event, and particularly as in the memory of Mr. Harlan White, as he was a good friend, and I think it might be unique for our particular club in this community, and really have something to stake our claim and move forward with. So I just want to bring that up also before I actually forgot it. And that is my last thing, besides my announcements and reminders at the end of the meeting. I will turn it over to this month's chairperson, Mr. Alan Winter.
Thank you, Chris. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm getting an early start on St. Patrick's Day, as you can see. But the only disadvantage of riding in that Journey minivan is you have to listen to those lame jokes. Just kidding.
I'll turn the radio off.
We are delighted today to have Suzanne Wood with us from Cleveland State. And for the last 2 years, we've joined with Cleveland State in presenting Dr. Seuss Day, his birthday. And this year is going to be a great event. Last year, I believe we gave around 800 books, something like that. So the library over at Cleveland State was packed that day, and I encourage all of you to join in and help us out with that event. In presenting Suzanne Wood, she received her bachelor's degree from UT Knoxville in 1977, her master's from UT in 1979 in human ecology. At the present, from 2002 to the present, she is coordinator and associate professor in early childhood education at Cleveland State Community College. And she has several accolades, And a few of those are in 2006, she was the recipient of Chattanooga Association of the Education of Young Children Hilda Avant Award. 2005 voted Outstanding Faculty at Cleveland State Community College. 2011 awarded Service Learning Champion at Cleveland State Community College. And 2013 recipient of the Star Faculty Award. Let's give a warm Kiwanis welcome to Suzanne Wood.
I'm glad you did that and not me.
That's not good. We call that premises liability.
Turn this down. I'm very short, so. I probably have a loudness voice. I'm used to teaching, so I probably don't even need that. Thank you, Chris, and certainly Alan for the nice introductions. And it's good to see all my friends at Kiwanis. And you've heard most of my spiel because I've been here twice before, and fortunately I'm back again. So this is not going to be probably as lengthy as my others, but I do want to talk to you about some things today about the event and Dr. Seuss. I was reading some material. There's a whole annotated book on Dr. Seuss and his life, and I don't know why. I can get up in front of a class and I'm fine, but when I come to a group of people, I get a little nervous, you know, trying to speak to a group I'm not as familiar with. And I read something that Dr. Seuss, and I'm hoping I'm getting this correct, that in, I believe it was World War II, people raised money for bonds, war bonds, and he was a young boy in the Boy Scouts, and he actually raised the most money for his Boy Scouts troop. And apparently Theodore Roosevelt went around from city to city to award people who'd been able to raise the most money for war bonds, and there were 10 people, but for some reason, when he got there, he only had 9 awards. So they whisked little Theodore off the stage, and he swore that's why he would never speak in public, because that had traumatized him as a child. So that was kind of an interesting anecdote. You know, I haven't been traumatized as a child, but he was a very kind of interesting person, but certainly gave us a lot and certainly helped a lot of children come to love reading. I wanted to give you a little bit of background. Some of you may have heard it before, some of you may not. In 2003, as part of my language and literacy class that I teach, it's a required course for students in early childhood, I decided to add a service learning component to that course, and the service learning program was Dr. Seuss. So that has continued since 2003. And the whole premise is that students learn how to plan, organize, and do an event, which you know from doing events yourself is not an easy task. And these are, a lot of them, 18-year-olds who've never planned anything other than going on a date, you know. So it's a real experience for them. So it's me and those students who did the first event. And the students and me, I guess is correct English. My husband would correct me. He's an English teacher. And we had 50 children the first year. So we continued to do it. We saw the students enjoyed it. They were getting a lot out of it. I had them do reflection on it and how much they had gotten out of doing an event and how much they enjoyed doing it. So we've been doing it since then. Last year, or the year before last, was the first year Kiwanis was involved. And then last year, because I feel, you know, they saw that as part of their mission and wanted to come back again, Kiwanis came back again last year and donated books and volunteered at the event. Last year we had a tornado the day before the event, and our campus was hit pretty hard. The 2 beautiful trees that are by Humanities that have been there for years, both were knocked over and hit cars, and there was debris all over campus. We had no electricity the day before, and I was ready to call it off. And some people in administration says, no, we'll get it cleaned up, we'll get maintenance out here, we'll get the electricity back on. The next day was beautiful. We had 800 children last year after a tornado. So I think our
event has gotten momentum because word of mouth even though we advertise it, we have a lot of children who come year after year. And I think one of the many reasons, and one of the best reasons they come, is they know they're going to get a free book. And for many children, that's a luxury. You know, they don't have the money, their families don't have the money, or they don't see the need, you know, to have books in the home. And so I brought the book that is, we usually honor the 50th year book. This year it's the Sleep book, which I was not familiar with. I had to go back and read it myself. And it's a good night book. It's one of his few books he wrote to put children to sleep at night. Fortunately, this year, if you're not aware, Kohl's has a program where they sell books and stuffed animals. The book is not from Kohl's, but the stuffed animal is, for $5 each. And it just so happened they did the Sleep book this year. So they're already out. You can't even buy any. I did buy some for door prizes to give out, some of the parents. So that's kind of where we are as far as the event. Because this is the 10th year, and because we need volunteers, I know that Alan will be encouraging and inviting people to volunteer. And I see many faces that were here last year and the year before, and I think if you talked with them, they would tell you how much more you get out of it than you give. You know, just being able to hand those books out to children, it is such a treat to get to do that. So, I'm sure we'll need volunteers. This year, also, we don't have as many volunteers as we've had in the past as far as students in my class, because we put a prerequisite on the course and it's limited the number. The book is oversized this year. This is the size of the book. And so our librarian suggested, because we wouldn't be able to purchase as many with the money that you're giving us, that we spread it out and put some other books in there, and that way we could donate more books. So this year we'll have the Sleep book, we'll have a smaller version that's for children, it's a board book, that's the Sleep book, and then we'll do Mr. Brown Can Moo and Marvin K. Mooney. So the children will have a choice of, you know, which one they want, but we weren't able to buy as many as we'd like. Fortunately, also this year, with the service learning grant that I got $1,000. And so I was able to add to your all's books so that we could get 850 books, which that's what we're planning on this year. We always plan a few more than we did the previous year. So I'd be very surprised unless we, please don't have a tornado. That as long as the weather, I mean, we've even had them stand out in the rain. I mean, we had rain the year before and we brought everything in and people still come. So I really don't think that that's going to be a problem. The event actually had to be moved a little bit. Typically, Dr. Seuss's birthday is that first weekend in March. But the TBR moved spring break. So the library the library is closed during the spring break. That's the only time we can use the library. So this year the event will be March the 9th from 10 to 1. I wish I had a poster with me today. They're still being done. We were a little late in getting it out this year. And what I have done, I have given Alan a sign-up sheet. If you would like a copy of the poster, you know somewhere you could post it or would like to put it up somewhere or give it to somebody, a child, you know, if you see somebody. If you'll just give me your name and email, I'll see that you get one in your email and you can just copy it off. They actually, they're color, and you don't have to have a color printer. They really look beautiful, the ones I've seen, just black and white. So you don't have to do the color unless you just want to. Something else that my class does as part of this, and I'm not sure that you're aware of that either, is they make what we call book buddy bags for children. And what's in the book buddy bag is a book, not always Dr. Seuss. In fact, it's usually lots of other different kinds of books. We do have some Dr. Seuss, and they make activities with cards that tell how to do the activity. A parent, a teacher, other students can check those out. Well, we've been doing those since before 2003, so the library they're in the library in the children's section. So we decided this year, as part of this year's event, because we're trying to make it different since it's the 10th year, that we would donate we would donate a portion of our Book Buddy bags that have been in the library and give them to our sister partner school, which is Taylor. So on March the 1st, which is the Read Across America in the public schools with Dr. Seuss, our early childhood students from that class will be going and reading to the children at Taylor. We'll have the Cat in the Hat there. We'll, have one of our students dress up like Cat in the Hat. And we will have, donate those Book Buddy bags, which can be checked out by parents even, and do literacy activities at home with parents. And we gave them one specific, I don't know if you read the news, but our English department started a literacy garden at Taylor. And so we picked out books that went with gardens and outside so that they're interrelated with the theme of their literacy garden. So I wasn't aware if you really had done that before. Something else that I wanted to mention to you today, I mentioned it to Alan and I'm going to mention it to you. I don't have a budget for Dr. Seuss. It's just kind of the sun and the stars and the moon align and money just happens. I don't know how it happens, but it does. And so I always am worried about if I'm going to have enough money to pull this off so that it's free to children and families. And so I became aware of a program that Kohl's has. If 5 of their employees volunteer to work your event and you fill out this grant application, then they will give your program $500. And so I've already checked into it, and they're already seeing if they can get some volunteers for Dr. Seuss, which I can definitely use. But we have to be nonprofit, and we are not. We are tax exempt, but we're not nonprofit, but you all are. So if I write the grant and put that I'm partnering with you, they will give you all the check for Dr. Seuss, and we can use it. So I'm not asking for any response. I will give that to Chris and Alan, and they can present it to you and see if that's something you might want to. There would be, the only work you all would have to do is just getting the check and then giving it back to Dr. Seuss. I'll do all the grant writing for it, and hopefully, he pretty much assured me that it would be approved if they got the 5 volunteers. So I think it's just a matter of filling out the paperwork for it. So anyway, that would help us, and certainly we love partnering with Kiwanis. One of the things that, and like I said today, I'm not going to take an extremely long time. One of the things that I wanted to bring up to you today, because I've talked about literacy, why it's important, and I know that you know it's important. But, and it's a mission, when I read through the materials of Kiwanis, I didn't realize that your mission was actually early childhood literacy. And it made me very happy, to see that that was high on the priority list with Kiwanis, because I know how important it is overall. So I developed a fact sheet that is, I think that Alan's already passed it out. And I thought it had some really good information to let you see how literacy and starting young, the far-reaching effects for everyone, and how much it can save us money when people are literate. The top I stole, it didn't have who it was quoted by, but I really liked it. Literacy is learned, illiteracy is passed along by parents who cannot read or write. I thought that was so true, that really was what I want you to understand. 1 child in 4 grows up not knowing how to read. 2/3.
That's in the U.S.?
Yes. That's the United States. All this is the United States. 2/3 of students who cannot read proficiently by the end of the 4th grade will end up jail or in welfare, or on welfare. Over 70% of inmates in America's prisons cannot read above a 4th grade level. If a child is not reading proficiently in the 4th grade, he or she will have approximately a 78% chance of not catching up. 80% of preschool and after-school programs serving low-income populations have no age-appropriate books for their children. The most successful way to improve the reading achievement of low-income children is to increase their access to print. And let me also tell you that we target those children in our advertisement for Dr. Seuss. We send it to all the Head Start children. We send it to the schools that traditionally have more low-income children. That's where we target our advertising so that hopefully they'll attend. Findings show higher than average scores among students who reported more types of reading materials at home. Creating a steady stream of new age-appropriate books has been shown to nearly triple interest in reading within months. 78% of juvenile crime is committed by high school dropouts. Each dropout over his or her lifetime costs the nation approximately $260,000. I'd rather have that $260,000 and spend on books and literacy. 37% of children arrive at kindergarten without the necessary skills for lifetime learning. Half of youth with a history of substance abuse have reading problems. Almost 13 million American children live in poverty. Children from low-income families are at greater risk for entering school unprepared. According to a national longitudinal analysis by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, economically disadvantaged children may know only 1 or 2 letters of the alphabet when entering kindergarten, while children in the middle class will know all 26, and probably some of them reading. Across the nation, just under half of children between birth and 5 years, 47.8%, are read to every day by their parents or other family members. By the age of 2, children who are read to regularly display greater language comprehension, larger vocabularies, and higher cognitive skills than their peers. If that doesn't make you know how important it is, what you do, even if, you feel it's in some small way, it's really in a big way. Just putting a book in their hands, applying significance to literacy, that the Kiwanis clubs thinks literacy is important or they wouldn't be there. And that wouldn't be their mission if they didn't think it was important. So I hope all of you will consider, or many of you consider, volunteering. It's a long day, a little bit. Probably need to be there around 9:30 because they're lining up outside the doors. Right about around 9:30, they start lining up to come in. We don't let them in until 10, and it goes until 1. And like Alan says, it can get pretty hectic in there, but you all have a really nice spot. I put you back in the same place. You have a nice kind of barrier so you can put the books behind you and hand out the books in front of you. I hope that you understand that you will instill love of reading by applying emphasis to it, and has such far-reaching effects. So from my heart to your heart, thank you on behalf of my students and all the children and families. Thank you.
Anyone got any questions for Suzanne?
What is that date again?
March the 9th. It's a Saturday. It'll be the second Saturday in March at from 10 to 1. But like I said, volunteers, if they're going to come early, I know that sometimes you all rotate people in and out. If you're going to be the early person, you probably need to be there by 9:30.
We'll have sign-up sheets going around.
And don't forget, also have the sign-up sheet if you want a poster or something you can post in your business, or you want to post it in your church, or just give it to a child. We will have some that go out, but they're still being done right now, so we didn't have any today. And yeah,
Excuse me. This handout, is it also going to be on your website anywhere?
No, I mean, I hadn't planned on putting it. My students will do something for the parents about literacy that'll be in the bags, but it'll be directed toward parents, like why it's important to read. And I don't know if you're aware, but the governor's wife has a program called Read 20. And she's encouraging children or parents to read to their children 20 minutes every day.
Suzanne's suggestion, if you have this in your computer, when you send out the poster, would you send this as well?
Sure, I'll need to put all the credits. I didn't put the bibliography. I'm a teacher, so I have to give people credit. These are not my quotes; they're taken from.
Well, I think we just want the information.
Sure.
Do you in any way encourage the parents to sign their children up for the
Dolly Parton's diversity
I'm
program?
so glad you said that, because I forgot to tell you one of the important things. I skipped over it. I'm so glad you said that. The Imagination Library will have a booth there that day. We have not done that in the past, but she will be there that day to sign children up for the Dolly Parton. And I forgot to tell you the most important things, the things we're doing differently this year. You can wear your pajamas if you want to. Children love to wear pajamas. That's up to you. The students and I will have on pajamas, but you don't have to. But the children get to wear their pajamas. To celebrate the 10th year, because I've worked with low-income families and children for about 10 years before I came to this job, some of them don't have beds. They don't have a bed to sleep in. A lot of them sleep on the floor, on a mattress on the floor. So I got this idea that I'd like to have a bed to give away. A twin bed, and things just, when I tell them it's for Dr. Seuss, it just kind of happens, and it's got us, somebody likes us up there. So I had a student whose husband could build us a bed, headboard. So he's building us a bookshelf headboard. Another student had a cousin that had a mattress factory, so they're donating the mattresses. So we're going to have a twin bed there. We'll have all the linens on it. The children can have their picture made on it with, we have characters, Cat in the Hat, Thing 1 and Thing 2, and the Grinch. And then we'll have a drawing. It won't be in everybody's bag. It'll only be people who want to get a drawing for the bed. And we're going to give that twin bed away that day. So that's one of the exciting things that we're doing differently. And also I wanted children to know it's not just about getting, it's about giving. So we connected with the Caring Place. There will be barrels there, and we're asking people to bring new socks, new underwear, new pajamas for children. And there will be barrels for to donate those, and those will be given to the Caring Place, because also having worked with low-income children and families, underwear, socks, and pajamas are a luxury. They're a luxury. So, that's something I thought the children could do. They don't have to. You don't have to have it to enter. So if some of you would like to bring that and donate, we certainly would appreciate underwear, socks, or pajamas. New. They don't want anything used. So new for the event. That's the other thing. And then yesterday, I'm not immune to asking anybody for anything for Dr. Seuss, just because I know if I don't, that's the only way we're going to survive. So I asked our textbook rep if he would donate something. First he said, well, we have pamphlets. And I thought, oh yeah, that's what every child wants, a textbook pamphlet. And I wrote him back and I said, well, that would be great if they're appropriate for parents to read about literacy. He wrote me back and he said, how about a Kindle Fire? So we are getting a Kindle Fire donated for a door prize. We're not telling anybody. When the children come in, they get a goodie bag and they pick up an egg. And when some child picks up that egg and opens it up, it'll say you've won a Kindle Fire. So we are so excited about that, because many children, their families could never afford anything like that. And he told me for $4, you can go on and you can get all these educational games, books for $4 on the Kindle Fire. So all you have to do is ask people, and you'd be amazed sometimes, what they're willing to do for you when they know what it's for. And they know it's for early childhood literacy. So thank you so much. I had it in my notes, and I didn't even say some of the most important things about the different things we were doing this year to celebrate the 10th year. Thank you. Anybody else have a question before I kind of jumped in? Let me get my book. I got to take my security blanket.
Well, hold on a second. Before you do that, we got the last thing we need to give to you, Suzanne. Number one, we appreciate you being here. This is really the third year that we've done this in partnership with you for Dr. Seuss Day. And on behalf of Kiwanis Club of Cleveland, our Community Service Council from our foundation, well, not necessarily foundation, hopefully that'll be something into the future that we may be able to do directly from the foundation, using some dollars towards Dr. Seuss Day. But we're proud to give you this check in the amount of $3,750 for the expenditures for those books. If I recall correctly, it's about 710 books, if I recall correctly.
Right.
So there you go. You're very welcome.
Thank you all.
All right.
I don't get to keep it long. It goes fast.
Well, Adam's already skipped out, so what do you do?
I know. I just get to look at it and then pass it on.
But we really do appreciate it, and this really does fit within the mission of what we're about, and hands-on, sweat equity, doing things out there. But those of us who were there last year, particularly Gary Dennis, me, Alan, Bruce Bradford, we all had our big hats on, okay? I've still got that picture, and it's kind of like, whoo, on that. But regardless, it is something you really need to do and volunteer for. We will have stickers for the books that we've actually purchased like we did last year. They'll go in there, presented to you by the Kiwanis Club of Cleveland on X, Y, and Z date. Also, there's some sponsorships. Bank of Cleveland has stepped up to the plate and is sponsoring a certain number of books. Georgia Pacific, Mr. Clay Reese, same thing with him. And we're expanding that also. So hopefully if we can get additional partners, corporate partners to go with this, as this program moves forward into the future, we'll be able to expand that and reach more children in this community than we are today. So I think that's always a positive, but it's always something whenever you run out of books, you want to have more books, okay? So I think it's important for us to, as we move forward to the next year, to keep that in mind and continue to help support this program. Next, just remember, a quick reminder on this is we've got a board meeting, regular board meeting, noon next Tuesday. Also, next week's program is Tanya Sutherland, Executive Director of the Grab Coalition and Drug Task Force. So, if there's no other announcements, Vince.
Okay, guys, just a friendly reminder. Richard, Ellen, Matt, we're leaving at 11:30.
And that man will sprout wings. Oh, yeah. Anything else? Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll stand adjourned. Ding dong.